organization brought to you by Catherine Young,
Sonia Martin,
Erica Mendoza,
Yesenia Gonzalez.
The birds of passage refer to primarily Eastern and Southern European immigrants who never wanted to live in the United States in the first place. The reason why they came to America was because they were not able to make a living in their native countries. They intended to go back home once they worked and saved enough to purchase a piece of land so they can improve the living conditions for their families and themselves. As one Slavic steelworker put it, a good job, save money, work all time, go home, sleep, no spend. Many immigrants who went to the United States by themselves because they expected to see their families again within a few years. However, there was a low percentage of immigrants who were actually able to return home. During the years of 1907 to 1911, out of 100 Italians who went to the United States, 73 were able to return back home. Out of 100 Southern Eastern Europeans, approximately 44 were able to return back to their homes.
Immigrants were one of many to migrate to the U.S. Throughout 1870 and 1920, about 20 million Europeans settled in the United States. In the early 1890s, there was an increasing number of Eastern and Southern Europeans. Nearly 1 million people had immigrated to the U.S. during 1907. The main population of Europeans migrating consisted of Russians, Italians, and Austrian-Hungarians. Few of many reasons for the migration of Europeans was religion, persecution, land for farming, and also the rise in population, and the lack of industrial jobs in Europe. It was also said that America had many jobs to offer. At the same time, throughout Europe, there was a spirit of reform and revolt, which caused young Europeans to seek independent lives in America. The Europeans were mainly migrating in the East Coast, while the Chinese and Japanese were migrating to the West Coast. During 1851 and 1883, between 300,000 Chinese were migrating in small groups. Many came to seek fortune after the discovery of gold in 1848, which later on became known as the California Gold Rush. The Chinese were a great help to the U.S. in building railroads and also the first transcontinental line. When the railroads were complete, Chinese immigrants turned to do other jobs, like farming, mining, and domestic service. But Chinese immigration was limited by an act passed in 1882. Between 1880 and 1920, another group of immigrants were being presented, the West Indies. About 260,000 West Indies were migrating in the southern and eastern of the United States. The West Indies consisted of Jamaicans, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, and other islands. They left their homelands because of the lack of jobs, and the U.S. had an increase of industrial jobs.